Some post for you, Poirot.
Mr. Hercule Poirot, you fancy yourself, don't you, at solving mysteries that are too difficult for our poor thick-head British police. Let us see, Mr. Clever Poirot, just how clever you can be. Perhaps you'll find this nut too hard to crack. Look out for handover on the 21st of the month. Yours extra, A, B, C.
Oh, it's some sort of joke.
Maybe. But please remind me to inform Chief Inspector Japp.
It's here, Poirot. The murder took place in this street. Grim place indeed.
Tout à fait, Hastings. The streets of Andover are in a terrible state.
Look, there's Chief Inspector Japp. He's talking with a policeman.
Let us try not to get our shoes wet.
Over here, it's Hastings and Poirot. You missed the 9 o'clock train?
We took the 10:30. Luckily, the service is good to Andover.
So, Chief Inspector, what do we have?
The victim is called Alice Asher. She owned this tobacco shop. She was killed yesterday with a blow to the back of the head.
At what time?
Let me just check.
Is Japp being too relaxed? Let us find the clues that prove it.
Indeed, Poirot. We were used to seeing you judge people with more discretion.
chap is in a good mood. I bet he thinks he's already caught the culprit.
The last customer to see Mrs. Asher alive left her shop at 5:30. The body was found at around 11 in the evening by an officer doing his rounds. The shop door was open. That's what alerted him.
Taken.
A little tobacco maybe, but you'd hardly murder for a few smokes. There's nothing of any real value in the shop.
What type of woman was Mrs. Asher?
In her 50s, married but separated, no children.
Her husband?
Aha, Franz Asher, the husband. Alcoholic and violent. It's said that he regularly insulted his wife and threatened to kill her.
A little too easy, don't you think?
You like complications, don't you? Well, this time you may be disappointed.
Peut-être. May I examine the crime scene?
Of course, old chap.
I'll be with you in a minute, Poirot. I'll be with you in a minute, Poirot.
She just has one wound on the back of the head. There are no other wounds or signs of a struggle. The body is hidden by the counter and is not visible from the tobacco shop store. Many customers must have thought that Mrs. Asher had popped out. The body is hidden by the counter and is not visible from the tobacco shop store. Many customers must have thought that Mrs. Asher... I can't see any other mark on the floor. She has a packet of Play cigarette next to her hand. Did she drop it when she fell? This poor woman's head is resting in a very even-shaped pool of blood. It's not just any railway guide. It's an ABC. It's open at the letter A. There are no prints on the book. Red liquid is oozing out. Is it blood? No, it's just some strawberries that are losing their juice. They probably come from the fruit and vegetable shop opposite. The counter with fingerprints all on top of one another. Unfortunately, it will not be possible to use them. The door is locked. There are cigarettes packets in a mess on the shelf. The till does not appear to have been touched. I have to check that nothing is missing from it. It would be best to examine the rest of the till. Something is preventing the drawer from opening. A mechanism has just made a fan click. The till is full of money, but there is something strange. Something is hidden underneath. This must be the key to the back of the shop. The door is locked. What a strange box. It looks like you have to slide the slats of wood to open it. It is blocked. It is blocked. It is blocked. It is blocked. This button appears to activate the mechanism. It is blocked. It is blocked. It is blocked. Did Alice Asher suffer from nosebleeds? Blood. An inscription in German. Souvenir of our honeymoon in the Black Forest. To my Alice forever, Franz Asher. The Ashers were a lovely couple when they were young. Such a pretty decoration should be at the center of the motif to respect the symmetry. The wooden flower is preventing the circle from turning. The wooden flower is preventing the circle from turning. Such a pretty decoration should be at the center of the motif to respect the symmetry. I heard a faint sound as if something was unlocked. It is blocked. These drawings appear to be attached to the chest of drawers. They won't move. Medicine. Laudanum-based cough medicine, Mrs. Asher, and Dover Morley Laboratory, London. It's strange to find such an elaborate medicine from a leading London laboratory in the home of such a modest woman. From Mr. Adam Flint, Royal Bank, Eastfield Road, Andover, to Mrs. Alice Asher, 5 Bishops Road, Andover. Dear Mrs. Asher, further to your request of 12 February 1935, I have informed my superiors of your wish to apply for a loan to acquire the lease of the shop you rent from Mr. Fairfax. Despite the seriousness of your case, I regret to inform you that your request has been denied. The amount of your personal contribution, £11, is not high enough and represents too small a part of the final transaction. I remain at your disposal for any questions. Adam Flint. Mrs. Asher's meager savings were not enough for her to own the tobacco shop, but will largely cover her funeral costs. This interior is very simple. Mrs. Asher lived very simply. What a strange box. It looks like you have to slide the slats of wood to open it. This button appears to activate a mechanism. It is blocked. 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 That should do it. Who is this young woman? Who is this young woman? To my dear Aunt Alice, Mary Drower.
Have you found anything?
The victim has a niece. We must find her. Mrs. Asher lived very simply. I've finished with this subject. The place is unusually tidy for a crime scene. Nothing suggests any sign of a fight.
So, Poirot, any news?
So, an ABC guide with no fingerprints, but prints all over the counter.
Normally, the tobacco shop does not sell ABC guides.
Exact. Mon ami, could you have a word with the neighbors? Some may have seen something.
Of course, my friend, I'll do it straight away.
Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. The motive is definitely not financial gain. There is no sign of a struggle, and the till has not been forced or emptied. I think I've looked everywhere here. Let us see if I can find any more information in the shop's surroundings.
£4 a lettuce, a lovely large lettuce, 4 pence only.
A bottle of poor quality vinegar. The smell could awaken the dead. This woman appears to be a smoker.
Maybe you can stare at people like that where you come from, but here it's very rude.
She's a big smoker. She must have been a customer at the tobacco shop. Did you know Alice Asher well?
And for starters, who are you?
I'm Hercule Poirot, the detective.
You're foreign, that's for sure, with your accent and your odd way about you. And you're here about Alice's murder, I suppose. Well, I've nothing to say to you.
Did you speak to the victim yesterday?
No, I never saw her.
Please, try and help me, madame.
Why should I help you? For your beautiful moustache? Heh. Come on, move along now. You're scaring away my customers.
Please, do not be ridiculous. I know that you went to the tobacco shop yesterday.
Well?
It is your duty to tell me if you saw something unusual.
Who do you think you are telling me what to do? Get away from my stall!
Hey, Poirot. Is the greengrocer causing trouble? I'll sort her out.
No, please, leave her, Chief Inspector. I'll get her to talk later.
I found the victim's niece. She's waiting for you in the back of the shop.
Thank you, mon ami. I'll question her. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. Mrs. Asher was killed here. The absence of marks in the shop and the regular shape of the blood stains indicated beyond a doubt. Japp had the body removed out of respect for the victim's niece. His attention is commendable. Is her grief sincere? She appears to be very upset. She's dressed in mourning. She looks fragile. You were very fond of your aunt, am I right?
She was the only family I had since my mother died.
Your aunt did not have any children, is that correct?
No, she was separated from her husband.
What do you think about Franz Asher, your aunt's husband?
He never left her alone. Poor aunt. She used to drop by all the time and make a scene.
Was your aunt afraid of her husband?
He shouted a lot, but she wasn't afraid of him. Why, he used to slink away when she turned on him. He was afraid of her, if you like.
Did your aunt enjoy good health?
She had a bad throat, but she was well cared for by a doctor in London.
Does Franz Asher work?
All he's done for years is drink and gamble, but he used to be a very good cabinet maker.
What does he live on?
My aunt used to give him 5 shillings a week.
Did Franz Asher extort this money from her?
No, she didn't let him intimidate her. She gave the money quite willingly. He was her husband. She couldn't leave him with nothing.
I understand. You have been of great assistance, mademoiselle. Please take this young lady home.
My pleasure.
Well, this Franz Asher does not seem to be quite so dangerous as Jab says. And since Alice Asher gave him money regularly, it was not in his interest to kill her.
We have to wait for him to sleep it off. He's all yours, Poirot. There are a few things I need to check.
There must be some way of sobering him up.
I wonder what his wife used to do. He must have scared the customers away.
It's Alice Asher's notebook. Ah, that's interesting. It probably contains information about our possible debtors and creditors. Bodley. The fruit seller has debts too. She will probably be more cooperative thanks to this piece of information. Drower was telling the truth. Mrs. Asher regularly gave money to her alcoholic husband. A box of new stockings. I am accusing you of the murder of Mrs. Asher.
What? It wasn't me!
According to the victim's account book, you owed her £10 for tobacco and magazines.
That's a lie. She owed me £1. I swear.
Enough lies!
It's not lies. But you're not quite as clever as what you think.
Now, please be so kind as to explain this.
Look at my account book. Alice owed me £11 for fruit and vegetables. I may have had a slate at her shop, but she had one at mine. She owed me £1. And that reminds me I have to get it back from her niece.
That is quite enough. Account book has saved you, but I might ask Chief Inspector Japp to throw you in the cells for 1 or 2 nights while he checks your entries. Do you want to go to prison?
Prison? Now that's not fair. I haven't done nothing.
In that case, I am counting on your full collaboration.
Yes, sir. Of course, sir. Listen, I didn't kill Alice, I swear. But it's true that I did go to the shop yesterday.
At what time?
6 o'clock. She left me a note saying she wanted some strawberries if I got some. I received them late, about 6. So I took them over to her.
But you did not see her.
She wasn't in the shop, so I just put the strawberries on the counter and left.
You were not allowed?
I thought Alice had just gone to get her medicine from her room and that she'd be straight back.
You mentioned medicine.
Something for her cough. She used to take it a lot.
Who do you think killed her?
France! Her scoundrel of a husband. He was always after her for something. Well, he's a foreigner. Sorry, sir. What I mean is he's German. That's even worse.
Did you see Franz Asher enter the tobacco shop late yesterday afternoon?
Well, no. But at that time of the day, the streets are packed, and I have better things to do than watch her shop.
I'll just borrow your bottle a moment.
Take it. It's what Alice used to sober up her husband. But try not to empty the bottle.
Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. He's not in any condition to be questioned. I have to find a way to sober him up. Mes amis, I can say without a doubt that poor Mrs. Asher was killed between 5:30 and 6.
Killed when the street was packed with people. That's rather bold.
I've been talking to the neighbours, and...
No one's seen anything? Or rather, it's anything and everything. Am I wrong?
No.
Bien. We must grill this villain Asher before he falls asleep again. This man is in rather a bad state. This man has been fighting and he smells of alcohol. What were you doing yesterday at the time of the crime?
Can't recall.
Come on, my friend. Try to remember. It is important.
I'm really sorry, sir, but I don't remember a thing.
I see. But maybe you do remember threatening to kill your wife?
So what? You shouldn't take things so seriously, sir. Nothing but empty threats. We didn't get on all that badly.
Are you often involved in fights?
I don't know what you mean.
Asher, look me in the eye and tell me that you were in a fight.
I'm looking. No, I wasn't in a fight.
You are right. Looking at the state of you, you did not defend yourself. So someone gave you a good beating.
A beating? No way. All right, he tore my coat and gave me a black eye. You see the state of him.
Very interesting. Who is the other that you struck?
Probably best if I tell you everything. Yesterday afternoon, I met Roderick Tanner. We'd bet on a dog fight together.
An illegal bet, naturally.
Yes, sir. Our dog won. Roderick got the money, but he refused to give me my share.
And you fought about it. What time was this?
In the evening, about 6, I think. We were on the other side of town. You see, I couldn't have killed my wife.
Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. The murderer probably pretended to be a customer. He hit the shopkeeper from behind as he turned around to serve him. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. The murderer deliberately left behind this ABC as a signature. The absence of fingerprints and the fact that it is open at letter A for Andover leaves little doubt.
Asher's alibi appears to be confirmed. All the same, I'm going to call and check that he did have a fight with this Tanner on the afternoon of the murder. You can never trust this sort of chap.
One thing is certain, Asher was a ruffian who used to beat his wife.
But he is not very educated. It certainly was not him who wrote the letter signed ABC. Let's resume, Hastings. We know the murderer pretended to be a customer. He did not kill her for money, that appears to be certain.
I agree with you on that point.
And the murderer left an ABC guide as a signature. Therefore, it's likely he wrote the letter.
Indeed, but that doesn't explain why and how he did it.
You are quite right. Why he did it is a mystery. But as for how he did it, we do know enough to try and reconstruct the events. The killer enters the shop. Mrs. Asher turns around to greet her customer. The murderer asks her for some tobacco. She turns her back to him. He seizes the opportunity to strike her. He then places the ABC upside down before leaving. Everything appears to match the crime scene, mon cher Hastings. That is exactly what happened.
Asher has a strong alibi and we don't have any other suspect. But what was the point of this crime?
She had no debts. She gave Franz Asher money regularly. She wasn't owed money. Nobody stood to gain anything.
No doubt about it, the murderer is insane.
And I fear that we had not heard the last of him.
I hope you're wrong for once.
Bien, let's go back to London. If we hurry, we should catch the 7:02 train. Are you coming?
No, unfortunately, I have to talk with Andover police.
See you soon, then. Are you coming, Hastings? Let's go home. There's nothing for us here.
Well, do you have any idea about the killer's identity?
The crime was committed by a man of medium height, with red hair and suspicious eyes. He has a slight limp on the right foot and a wart just below his shoulder blade.
Poirot!
Mon ami, what do you want? You fix upon me a look of dog-like devotion and demand of me a pronouncement à la Sherlock Holmes. Now for the truth. I do not know what the murderer looks like, nor where he lives, nor how to set hands upon him.
What shall we do, then?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Do not be so impatient, Hastings. The killer will manifest himself soon enough.
I thought I heard the postman. Maybe there's some news.
I would go and see. Daily Flicker, June the 22nd, 1935. Battle over control of bank system. What will the government do for money? Andover, murder of a tobacconist. It is not the right time. Ah, some cool air. It is not the right time. Andover, Hampshire, population 31,200 inhabitants. Dear Mr. Poirot, well, what do you think? I believe that I won this round. The Andover affair went like clockwork, don't you feel? But the fun has only just started. I would like to draw your attention to Bexhill-on-Sea on the 25th of this month. We're having a crazy time. Best wishes, ABC. The next crime will be in Bexhill. We must warn Jap to Scotland Yard.
Did the letter indicate anything that might help the police?
To be honest, I think we can already guess something about the next victim. But I need to think about it a little more. Let us examine this more closely. Certain characters in the two letters may have similar defects. Yes, this I is weird. Yes, the A appears to be quite unusual. That's right. The A characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. I have to find some other similar defects to confirm my theory. The W is not printed properly. Of course, the W characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. I have to find some other similar defects to confirm my theory. Let us examine the characters in this word. Let us examine the characters in this word. Yes, this I is weird. However, the characters in the two words do not match. Let us examine the characters in this word. Yes, the I characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. My theory was right. These two letters were written with the same typewriter. Both letters were written on the same typewriter and show the same characteristics.
You surprise me, Poirot. You usually ignore material proof.
But there is nothing usual about this case, Hastings. Nothing must be overlooked. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
So, Poirot, have you found something?
Oui, I believe so. But I am afraid it is not enough to stop the murderer. Let us go and see Chief Inspector Japp. I will explain there. To Scotland Yard, please. Japp appears to be snowed under. Japp appears to already be overloaded with work. My news is not going to improve matters. Bonjour, Chief Inspector. I am afraid we have some bad news. I have just received another letter signed ABC. The next crime will be on the 25th in Bexhill-on-Sea.
Are you completely sure it's from the same person?
I have compared the two letters. There is no doubt about it.
I suppose you think he's going to carry out his threats.
I fear so.
Good God, Poirot. Bexhill is very busy at this time of year, and we have no idea who the next victim will be.
I suspect that the name of the second victim will start with B.
What on earth makes you think such a thing?
I thought about it when I saw the name Asher clearly written over the shop door of the unfortunate woman who was murdered in Andover last month. When I received a letter mentioning Bexhill, I deduced that the victim, like the town, might have been chosen by alphabetical order.
So it's an alphabet fiend. I'm going to have a list drawn up of all the people whose name starts with B. I hope there aren't too many of them.
Bien. We should leave you to work, Chief Inspector.
You have a few days to prepare yourself.
Thank you for coming, my friends.
Poirot?
Chief Inspector Japp, your call does not bode well.
Indeed, we have just found the body of a young woman on the beach in Bexhill. An ABC was placed on the body.
We'll be there as soon as possible.
Bexhill is a delightful town. It would be nice to come back and visit.
I do not entirely agree. Walking on the beach damages my shoes, and it hurts my knee.
So the years have not spared you, my friend. It's the same for all of us.
That is exactly what I said to myself when I saw you back from your travels.
Poirot!
Do not be offended, Hastings. I can see Japp waiting for us. And from his face, I would say that things are not looking good. There is no doubt about it. Bexhill has one of the most beautiful beaches in the area. We should have the courtesy to go and see Chief Inspector Japp before examining the crime scene. We should have the courtesy to go and see Chief Inspector Japp before examining the crime scene.
How do you do, gentlemen?
Chief Inspector?
I fear your admirer has struck again, Poirot. We haven't yet identified the victim, but it's a young woman, 20 to 25 years old. Death occurred last night between 11:30 and 1 o'clock, and we found an ABC guide on the body.
Was she pretty?
Come on, Poirot, that's rather out of place. It has no bearing on the murder.
Are you certain? For women, it is often the most important thing. It often decides their destiny.
The body hasn't been moved. You can see for yourself.
Has the press been informed?
Not yet, but I'm planning to. I haven't yet informed them about the presence of the ABC guide in Andover.
Nobody has reported a young woman missing?
Not for the moment.
No witnesses, I imagine?
Indeed. We've asked everybody who may have met a young woman fitting her description last night to come and see us, but I have little hope of gaining anything from it.
It's early days, Chief Inspector, and the news may not have spread around the town yet.
I hope you're right, Hastings.
The guide is open at the page for the Bexhill train times. A braided seat belt. It may have belonged to the victim. These marks have been left by a rope or a braided cloth. She was a great beauty. Strange that Japp didn't notice it. This key is too small to be one for a house. Without a doubt, it is for a padlock. Apart from the marks on her neck, there are no signs of the struggle. She didn't manage to hit her assailant. The young woman wasn't wearing shoes or a coat and was not carrying a bag. That's strange. Either the murderer stole her belongings or she put them somewhere safe. Maybe so that she could bath. Let us now try and get our brains back. The poor child must have been strangled with his braided belt. Unfortunately, in view of the fabric, it is unlikely that we will find any prints. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. The medical officer should confirm that the victim was strangled with her own belt.
That's what I thought. She shows the usual signs of strangulation.
With a little luck, we'll find prints this time.
You are too optimistic, Hastings. Our killer is far too meticulous for that. a dual locking padlock. I need to find the code and then insert a key. The purse is full. Yet again, we can dismiss theft as the motive for the murder. Here is the watch she must have removed to prevent it from getting wet. A top-brand lipstick. She liked to take care of her appearance. As well as a photo of the victim with some company. It could be useful to me. Betty's first day at work. Mom is very proud of you. Elizabeth Barnard, 7 August 1931. So, the young lady did have a name starting with B, and she worked as a ginger cat, an establishment that must be slightly further along the beach. It definitely was here that the victim left her belongings.
Jap has gone to the police. The victim has been identified and her family had reported her disappearance. She was called?
Elizabeth Barnard, mainly Betty. She worked as a ginger cat at the cafe slightly further along the beach.
But Poirot, how on earth?
Never mind. Do you have her address?
Yes, she lived with her parents on the street leading to the beach, number 22. Shall we go?
You are far too impatient, Hastings. Let the poor people take in the news first. Let us go and visit the cafe where Betty worked.
I'll be with you in a minute, gentlemen.
It is not the right time. Something tells me that she's the owner of the ginger cat. This woman must be the owner of the ginger cat. It looks like something is bothering her.
How can I help you?
A hot chocolate and a tea for my friend, please.
I'll bring it straight away.
I need to know the time range during which Betty was working on her own. These are the different waiting staff's bills. Which ones were written by Betty? Where is Betty? Betty worked from 11 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Would she have been alone at any time during her service? Betty worked from 11 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Would she have been alone at any time during her service? Interesting. Betty was alone between 5 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. Who did she serve? No, this person is not the last one to have worked with Betty. Most probably a single man, a whiskey lover, maybe the murderer. This bill may have been written by Betty. There is probably another one. Most probably a family. Betty served a family and a man on his own, a whiskey drinker, maybe the murderer. This information will help me to progress.
But, gentlemen, what are you doing?
We are searching for clues, mademoiselle. My name is Hercule Poirot. I am a detective, and this is Captain Hastings. Does Betty Barnard work here?
That is correct. She should have been here a while ago. Punctuality is the first rule of politeness.
I fear that Miss Barnard will not be coming today. She has just been found, dead, on the beach a few hundred meters from the cafe.
How awful. Poor young thing. What happened?
She appears to have been murdered.
This is most distressing. How this will affect my business, I shudder to think.
Do not be so sure. Miss Barnard's tragic death may be a good advertisement for you.
It makes one despair of human nature. Poor young girl. She was a hard-working and pleasant young woman. I didn't know her that well. She'd only been here for 2 summers. I know that she had a young man. He used to call for her sometimes.
This photo was found. Is this him?
Yes, that's him all right. But I haven't seen him for some time.
I find young people today very hard to understand.
You needn't tell me that. A few weeks ago, they argued just outside the cafe. Imagine what my customers must have thought.
I hope for you that it was an isolated incident. It must be difficult to keep a respectable establishment if your staff show themselves to be so shameless.
The young man only made a scene the once. Jealousy, no doubt. It must be said the young girl was very pretty.
Thank you for your time, Mademoiselle Mérion. You have been of great help.
The customer who ordered the whiskey might provide us more information. He may have been the last one to see Betty alive.
It is an interesting idea, Hastings. Maybe he is a regular guest. What do you think, mademoiselle?
I don't think so. Our regular guests tend to order tea and cakes. At this time of the year, there are a lot of tourists about you never see again.
That's what I thought. Time to visit Betty's home. What a pity. I don't have any change to make it work. This is a well-laid table. Nothing is out of place and, above all, no creases. With all these tourists, these shops must be thriving. Could it be the same buildings as on the victim's photo? This is definitely where the photo I found in the hut was taken. How do you do, mademoiselle? My name is Hercule Poirot.
I know you. You're that detective we hear all about.
I do not know if that is a compliment, but I will take it as one for now. You are Betty's sister, I believe?
Yes. My name is Megan.
Can we come in?
Please do. My parents are at the police station. I doubt they'll be up to speaking to you later.
Do not worry, we will not bother them.
Did you know your sister's plans for yesterday evening?
No. I arrived by train this morning. My parents called me in a panic when they discovered that Betty had disappeared. She went out last night, but she didn't tell them where she was going.
What was your last conversation about?
Her new dress. She wanted a pair of black stockings to go with it. Mother brought her a pair. The very day it happened. She was crying. And to think that Betty never even wore them. Poor Mummy.
Megan invited me to examine her sister's bedroom. I should take advantage of the opportunity. Barnard appeared to make music a priority in their budget. Their home is modest, but the Barnards are definitely music lovers. What is she feeling at the moment? Betty's older sister is not just sad, she's angry. Did Betty go out often?
My sister wasn't a child, sir. She used to go out. She enjoyed films, dancing. She was a very good girl who didn't hang around with men. That's what they always say, no?
I am not interested in what people say. I am interested in the truth, Mademoiselle Barnard. If you only knew how much I would like to talk with someone who does not know that your sister is dead and who could provide me with a true portrait of her, beyond the formalities.
The truth is that my sister was a silly little fool. I tried to reason with her, but she behaved like an idiot.
In what way?
She used to say that if she was going to marry Don, she might as well have some fun now.
I understand. Please continue.
Oh, excuse me, I have to answer that.
But of course.
Betty's room is opposite the stairs on the first floor. Feel free to take a look if you think it might be useful.
This young woman is far too clever not to have anything else for us.
Do you think she's hiding something?
That is what I'm trying to find out.
Surely you don't think she did it?
I did not say anything of the sort. But young women always ruin your judgment, Hastings. Who knows, maybe Megan was jealous of her attractive young sister.
I see. She may have had her sights on the inheritance. Or maybe she was in love with Donald Fraser.
We have to study all scenarios, even the most unlikely. But I doubt that Mr. and Mrs. Barnard are rich enough to justify murder. While I try and get Miss Barnard to talk, I would like you to try and find Donald Fraser. It should be easy to find the estate agents where he works. Bring him to the Ginger Cat. I would like to talk with him before the Chief Inspector finds him. Looking at all the clothes she took out, Betty must have had a problem deciding what to wear. Maybe she had a date? A box of new stockings. It looks like Betty was also a music lover, the same as her family. Without a doubt, Betty used to sing. Something on this clock bothers me. This wooden panel is blocked. I can't open it. What a strange mechanism. I don't think it serves to turn the hands. Something on this clock bothers me. There, that's better. This metal disc is stuck. This metal disc is stuck. Could the screw be slightly loose? Could the screw be slightly loose? Could the screw... Could the screw... Could the screw... Could the screw... Good. It should be possible to open the wooden panel. What a strange mechanism. I don't think it serves to turn the hands. This wooden panel is blocked. I can't open it. Look, a key. This could be useful. This decoration appears to be firmly fastened. Ah, something clicked on the front of the clock. This could be useful. Betty, I enjoyed a wonderful evening in your company, and I hope that we will see each other again very soon. D. My dearest Betty, I know that your art is already spoken for, but you are the most beautiful dancer I have ever had the pleasure of meeting, and I am impatient to see you again. Adrian. It looks like Betty has a very busy life. Betty liked luxury and going out, and being as pretty as she was, she probably did not have any problem getting herself invited. Looking at all the clothes she took out, Betty must have had a problem deciding what to wear. Maybe she had a date? A record sleeve with an handwritten title. Betty must have recorded a demo. I'd be interested to hear it. This small key should be useful to me. I've finished with this subject. Medicine to prevent voice loss. Did Betty have problems with her voice? Let us see. What is this cupboard hiding? This looks like solfège. 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 There is bound to be a clue somewhere. I heard the sound of a mechanism being triggered. I just have to put the record on the gramophone and start it. It looks like something goes in here. That doesn't work. I must have forgotten a step. That doesn't work. I must have forgotten a step.
the middle of recording.
Sorry, Betty, but it's not wise. The doctor said you should rest your voice.
You're such a killjoy sometimes.
Betty was such a good singer.
It's true. Did she have any problem with her throat?
Yes, she had to be careful with her voice. Of course, she didn't follow the doctor's advice. If Don didn't insist, she... Well, it's too late for all that now.
It looks like this woman is single, but she has feelings for someone. She is looking so intensely at this photo. But is it really a sister that she's studying in this manner? They made the perfect couple, am I correct?
Yes, in a way. She was pretty and he...
Well?
He's a bright man, with a promising career ahead of him. He would have made Betty a good husband. He was always attentive and generous. Oh, a true gentleman.
I hear a note of envy in your voice.
You must have heard wrong.
Donald appeared to be very much in love with your sister.
Yes, he was mad about her.
Mad, you say? Being madly in love can often be destructive, and Mr. Fraser was known for being jealous, I believe.
No more than average. Men are always slightly possessive, especially when they are with a pretty woman.
You are a poor liar, Mademoiselle Bernard.
Excuse me, Mr. Poirot, but I do not see why you are interested in our humble little crime.
It would appear that your sister's murder is the second in a series that we have to stop as quickly as possible. The first was in Andover, and the same as your sister, the murderer sent me a letter informing me that a crime would be committed in that town. Now can I count on your honesty?
Yes, you have my confidence, Mr. Poirot. Don is a quiet and sensitive young man, slightly reserved too, and as is often the case with reserved people, when he flew into a temper, he completely lost control. He could be so violent. Betty was frightened.
And when was this?
The first time was about a year ago. But they rowed more recently. Donald found out that Betty had lied to him. She said she was going out with a girlfriend, but she went out for dinner with a married man. It was an awful scene. She told him that until they were married, she was free to go with whoever she pleased. Donald turned quite pale and started shaking and kept saying one day...
Well?
He'd commit murder.
So you were afraid that he would become our main suspect. I know that Fraser was jealous, but I wonder why you feel the need to protect him.
Exactly. Had you not told me about the case, I would never have dared to tell you about this little matter. Don loved Betty with all his heart. I can't imagine for one instant that he would hurt her.
Very good, Mademoiselle Bernard. Thank you for your help.
Fraser is at the Ginger Cat. The police haven't spoken to him, but they want to.
Très bien, Hastings. Let's see him now. Au revoir, mademoiselle. My deepest condolences to your parents.
Of course, Mr. Poirot. And don't be too hard on Don. He's more fragile than he looks.
If you say so. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. You've seen Fraser, Hastings. What is your feeling?
He's a big chap. Fragile isn't exactly the word that springs to mind. I talked to his landlady before seeing him. She went to bed at 11. Fraser wasn't home yet.
Bien. Megan Barnard said he is a reserved character but with a nasty temper. We will see if this is the case. How do you do, Mr. Fraser?
You Hercule Poirot. Mr. Hastings said you wanted to speak to me.
Yes. I know that it may not be the right time, but I would like to ask you a few questions. This man looks suspicious.
Leave me alone.
Donald Fraser is in a terrible state, as if he hadn't slept all night. And he's drinking White Horse.
Leave me alone. Tell me that it's a mistake, that Betty isn't dead.
Sadly, your lady friend has been murdered, Mr. Fraser.
Oh, Betty, if only you'd listened.
Did you visit Betty yesterday afternoon?
No, I haven't seen Betty for 2 days. I was at the office yesterday afternoon.
Can you prove that?
Of course. But why this question? Betty died yesterday evening, didn't she?
Betty was murdered during the night, but that does not prove that she did not meet her murderer earlier in the day.
So am I a suspect?
Everybody close to Betty is a suspect, Mr. Fraser. I would be a very poor detective if I did not examine all possible eventualities. Do you know what Betty's plans were yesterday evening?
She said she was having dinner with her sister.
Yet, Megan only returned to Bexhill this morning, Mr. Fraser.
I didn't know.
Right. May I ask you what you were doing yesterday evening?
I spent the evening working.
Your colleagues can confirm this?
No, I often take work home with me.
You are lying, Mr. Fraser. As was Betty when she hid the fact from you that she was seeing other men.
Betty was a very decent young woman. How dare you sully her memory?
I am not interested in memories of her, Mr. Fraser. I am looking for a killer, and I need you to be my closest ally. That is, unless you have something to hide.
Of course I don't.
Très bien. So, what were we saying? Where were you yesterday evening?
I looked everywhere for her, but in vain. When she said she was going to have dinner with her sister on a weekday, I thought it was strange. I tried not to think about it, but I was like a lion in a cage. I was convinced she was lying. So I went round all the restaurants in the town. When I didn't find her, I went to the next town. But nothing. I must have got home about midnight or 1 o'clock.
Did anybody see you?
I don't think so. I didn't talk to anybody. I was so furious.
Ah, I knew I'd find you here, Poirot. I thought the victim's young man was here.
Yes, he's all yours, Chief Inspector. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Fraser doesn't have an alibi and he's extremely jealous.
You are very skilled at summing up.
And yet you haven't asked Japp to arrest him.
It is too soon. But I agree, without the letters announcing the crimes, Fraser would already be behind bars. Bon, I think we have enough elements. Let's reconstruct the events at the scene of the crime.
I can't imagine how the murderer wasn't seen, though. Surely she must have struggled.
Let us try and imagine the scene. The killer and the victim are walking on the beach. Miss Betty has a bag, a belt around her waist, and carries her shoes in her hand. Both of them walk slowly to hut number 5. Both of them walk slowly to hut number 6. Miss Betty enters the hut. She leaves without her belongings. Then she hides a coat. They keep walking. Then she removes her belt.
The murderer moves behind her and then attacks her by surprise. The body falls, lifeless, on the sand.
Everything appears to match the crime scene, mon cher Hastings. That is exactly what happened. Without the ABC, we might have suspected Mr. Asher and Mr. Fraser. But by timing his crimes, the murderer is accused. In a way, it is very generous of him.
Generous? The murderer seduced Betty in order to lure her to the beach and kill her.
Indeed, the young woman was certainly careless, but not stupid enough to follow a stranger.
What are you planning to do, Poirot?
Return to London, mon cher Hastings. Right, back to London. There is nothing more for us to do here.
Japp has decided to reveal details to the press. The alphabet murder is now famous.
It is not a bad idea. The more people who know, the greater our chances of finding out something of interest.
Poirot, I have a bad feeling. Poor Mr. Poirot, not so good at these little criminal matters as you thought yourself, are you? Rather past your prime, perhaps. Let us see if you can do any better this time. This time, it's an easy one. Churston on the 30th. Do try and do something about it. It's a bit dull having it all my own way, you know. Good hunting. Ever yours, ABC. Good hunting. Did you hear that, Poirot? The murderer seems to be taking it all as a game, a challenge. He will strike on 30th in Churston. We must warn Scotland Yard.
By the way, Hastings, what day is it?
Well, looking at the calendar, it's the 30th. No time to lose. We must prepare our suitcases for Churston.
Mon Dieu, it is already 10 o'clock. I will call Scotland Yard immediately. In his haste, Hastings tore the envelope. Daily Flicker, July 30, 1935. ABC affair, no progress. The alphabet murderer is still on the run. Ever since the police found the connection between the Bexhill and Andover affairs, the inquiry has barely progressed. In this issue, we are publishing provocative letters sent by the killer to Hercule Poirot. Unfortunately, they have not yet helped to find him. Daily Flicker, July the 26th, 1935. The Bexhill Horror. Young maid strangled on the beach. Killer struck at midnight. Hello, Japp. We received a new letter from ABC in the 10 o'clock post.
Where and when?
In Churston. Today.
Today? I'll inform the population immediately.
I'll check the train times. Call me back. What you are doing is an absolute disaster. That is no way to pack suitcases.
Heavens, we must hurry. We have to get to Churston before the murder.
Hastings' order and method are always necessary, regardless of the circumstances.
Okay, okay. I'll let you pack them.
All the same, it really is a disgrace to leave your belongings in such a mess. Hastings' photo album. He is very proud of his bag. Bexhill-on-Sea, Sussex, population 24,703. I do not need to make a telephone call at the moment. It is not a good time. Poor Mr. Poirot. Not so good at these little criminal matters as you thought yourself, are you? Rather past your prime, perhaps? Let us see if you can do any better this time. This time it is an easy one. Churston on the 30th. Do try and do something about it. It is a bit dull having it all my own way, you know. Good hunting. Ever yours, ABC. It is not a good time. It is not a good time. All the same, it really is a disgrace to leave your belongings in such a mess. Voila! It only took a minute.
Poirot, you were right. I've just consulted the ABC guide. There's no hurry. The next train doesn't leave till 11:45.
You see, there is no need to hurry. We will not be in Churston until tomorrow morning, after the murder.
But why has the murderer warned us so late? It's not what he usually does. Did he do it on purpose?
Very good question, Hastings. We should also compare the letter we have just received with the other two, although I have very little doubt about what we will find. Right, let us compare this new letter with the second one. Let us examine this more closely. Certain characters in the two letters may have similar defects. Yes, this I is weird. Yes. The I characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. I have to find some other similar defects to confirm my theory. Yes, the A appears to be quite unusual. That's right. The A characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. I have to find some other similar defects to confirm my theory. The W is not printed properly. Of course, the W characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. My theory was right. These two letters were written with the same typewriter. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. The letter should have arrived in time. The postmark shows that it was sent 3 days ago. However, our man made a mistake in the address, which explains the delay. All the same, the post office took their time correcting the error.
Come on, Poirot. Your address is not quite as well known as that of Scotland Yard. Poirot, the telephone. It must be Jap.
I have some news from Churchton. Bad news, I'm afraid. Sir Carmichael Clark was murdered while out on his evening walk.
Sir Carmichael Clark. The name is familiar to me.
He was a famous throat specialist, one of the best in London. A wealthy man, he retired to Combside, a beautiful house by the sea. He collected antiques.
Are you going there?
Yes, let's meet on the train. The victim is called Sir Carmichael Clark, one of the best throat specialists in London. The body was still warm when we found it. If we'd been warned earlier, we definitely could have saved him.
It appears that the murderer made a mistake when he wrote his letter.
A mistake? Lucky for him.
And what if he did it on purpose?
No. He's defined his madcap rules and he's sticking to them. It's a matter of pride for him. Shall we go up to the house, Poirot?
You go, my friends. I will come soon. An ABC guide. The murderer's customary signature, covered in blood this time. The gravel on the path has been sprayed with blood that covers a conical-shaped area, which starts at the body and becomes wider as it moves further from the bush. Sir Carmichael's throat was cut. It's a clean incision, a professional murder. Apart from the wound to the throat, the body is untouched. No cuts, no bruises. Jap has emptied the victim's pockets and has laid out their contents on this piece of wax cloth. It is pointless. An oriental dragon. It's an old piece, much older than the pocket watch on which it was fastened. Nothing appears to be missing from this wallet. A signet ring, very probably with the Clark family's coat of arms. The body is just in front of a bush, one of the only bushes in the surrounding area. This place is very calming. The site is exceptional. It is easy to imagine that Sir Carmichael used to enjoy stopping here every evening. I'm not going to leave now. I still have some clues to find. The vegetation behind the bush has been trampled. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. Sir Carmichael had his back to the bush when the killer cut the throat from behind. A fatal blow that sprayed blood over a range of more than 1 meter. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Have you finished, Poirot?
Chief Inspector, many questions remain unanswered, but I am certain of one thing. The killer has prepared his crime very carefully.
Quite right. He must have known Sir Carmichael's movements well to plan such an attack.
The murderer struck with terrible savagery.
Yes, blood flowed. It's the first time he's attacked a man. He armed himself accordingly.
Have you spoken to the victim's family, Chief Inspector?
I've spoken to the brother, Franklin Clark. I didn't get much out of him. He's yours. I must get the body removed.
To be honest, this inspector seems rather obtuse. I'm counting on your friend Poirot to catch my brother's murderer. Ah, here he is now. Please, Mr. Poirot. Mr. Poirot, this is my brother's secretary, Miss Thora Gray.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Poirot. Would you like some tea?
No, thank you, mademoiselle. I find it hard to digest. It is not the right time. There is something elegant about her. She has good taste, except perhaps in her choice of jewelry.
Please excuse me, I have to take care of Lady Clark.
It is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to question him.
My brother's wife is gravely ill. You will probably want to question her, but I fear that it won't be possible today.
Of course, I understand. Someone set a trap for your brother. Who was familiar with his habits?
Everybody knew he took his evening walk at 8:30, and that he always followed the same path.
Everybody, including Miss Grey?
What are you insinuating? Thor would never... I mean, Miss Grey is above all suspicion. You're quite wrong, I'm absolutely certain.
What were you doing last night?
After dinner, I went to my bedroom. At 11 in the evening, the telephone rang. It was the police. I went to look for my brother.
Was it your favorite novel?
The Railway Children by Edith Nesbit. I know it's a children's book, but it's enthralling.
So it was you who found the body?
Yes, along with the gardener.
Have you seen any strangers around the house recently?
No. As far as I know, nobody has been near the house.
Miss Clark.
Oh, Lady Clark must have fallen from her chair. I have to help Miss Grey get her up.
Hastings, while our host is gone, let's examine the drawing room.
But, Poirot, a gentleman shouldn't...
I take full responsibility. All you have to do is to leave the drawing room door ajar and let me know if anyone is coming. It is an emperor. His place at the center of the table is probably symbolic. A dragon. A tiger. A crane? Comside's private collection, purchases since 1920. The catalogue for Sir Carmichael Clark's collection. A turtle. Dragon, dragon, dragon. Sir Carmichael showed himself to be very consistent in his collection's theme. Traditional Chinese map. Facsimile. South is on the top of the map. The interior is richly decorated. Dragon, dragon, dragon. Sir Carmichael showed himself to be very consistent in his collection's theme. It's locked. The cardinal points. This book could maybe help me. Each cardinal point is associated with one animal and one color. In the middle sits the imperial dragon, and out of respect, all the others are turned towards him. turtle, the dragon, the crane and the tiger. I think I've already seen this motif somewhere. The position of each motif is correct, but they are not turned the same way as on the table. I think I heard a bang. Could it be this cupboard? This is interesting. Ernest Logan, MD, Brighton Cancer Institute, 201 Dusk Road, Brighton, Sussex. To Sir Carmichael Clark, MD, Comside Churstone, Devon. Brighton, 1935, January the 5th. As a man of science, I owe it to you to be completely frank. Lady Clark, your wife is suffering from a generalized terminal cancer. I confess I didn't suspect anything like that during the first exams. With the test results I have received today, there is unfortunately no place for doubt. I estimate that Lady Clark's life expectancy is no more than 1 year. Hospitalization would not help in her case, so I advise you to keep her at home and provide her with as much morphine as required to ease her last moments. Yours sincerely, Ernest Logan. These daggers are only ceremonial weapons. I do not think that the crime weapon is here.
Here's Miss Grey.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Lady Clark's condition requires regular care. I believe you want to ask me a few questions.
Indeed, mademoiselle. This porcelain is remarkable. Is it old?
It's about 3 centuries old, I believe. Wait, let me find the reference.
She appears to be very flustered. She's unable to hide her emotion, and her makeup has been disturbed. I think that this young woman has just been kissed.
Here? Teapot with black dragon, Gangxi period, end of the 17th century. It is a rare piece with unusual colours.
You have a good knowledge of art history.
Acquired while working with Sir Carmichael. I used to help him manage his collection and choose his new acquisitions.
And sometimes, he used to give you a piece as a gift. Is that right?
Gift? What do you mean?
I am referring to your brooch.
This old brooch?
Mademoiselle, you know perfectly well. I am talking about the magnificent brooch you were wearing earlier.
Yes, you're right. Sir Carmichael did give it to me. He valued my work. How could I refuse? He would have been offended.
You took it off because of Lady Clark, am I right?
Indeed. Lady Clark does not like this jewel. Why upset someone who is so gravely ill?
I see. Maybe Lady Clark is a little jealous.
Mr. Poirot, do not be mistaken. There was nothing going on between Sir Carmichael Clark and myself. It's just... how should I say? Well, Lady Clark is very suspicious. Insanely suspicious. Wearing this old brooch in front of her would have caused her unnecessary suffering. Don't you think?
I am not blaming you, mademoiselle. Have you seen any strangers hanging around in the past few days?
No. Nobody has been near Cumside.
Tell me what happened last night.
After dinner? Well, I did some sewing and then I went to bed. I was woken by the telephone at 11. I heard Franklin Clark speaking with the gardener. They left with some lanterns and they found the body.
Am I right thinking that something is going on between you and Franklin?
How dare you ask me such a question?
Mademoiselle, it is difficult to hide things from me. He kissed you earlier, did he not?
My goodness, with Sir Carmichael's death, I was feeling so awful, so worried. I was unable to resist.
I am not judging you, mademoiselle.
Miss Grey, if I may be so bold, please do not take offence. My friend has rather unusual methods, but all he wants is to find the murderer.
Yes, I understand. I must rest. Please excuse me.
Earlier, you asked me to watch the living room door for you. I don't wish to be indiscreet, but sometimes a gentleman stumbles upon a secret without intending to.
That is sometimes the case.
And I saw Franklin Clark kissing Miss Grey at the foot of the stairs.
Do you think this is a common occurrence?
No, I saw emotion, intensity. I think it was their first kiss.
Well done, mon ami. Well spotted.
However, I don't think I completely understand this business. Why did Sir Carmichael not defend himself? He appeared to have been active and strong.
The murderer did not give him a chance. Let us try and reconstruct the scene. Sir Clark is taking his customary walk. Our killer is hiding behind a bush. The old man walks quietly along the gravel path. Then he turns towards the sea to gaze at it. killer leaves his hiding place on the right-hand side. He approaches silently over the grass. Then he throws himself on his prey and cuts the poor man's throat. He then lays down the ABC before leaving. Everything appears to match the crime scene, mon cher Hastings. That is exactly what happened.
Oh, just a minute. I'm getting dressed.
Mr. Kirst, have you recently returned from Churston?
Yes. Indeed I have.
Have you seen the papers? And to think that you might have rubbed shoulders with the killer. Imagine that. Mr. Kirst, are you all right? You don't seem well.
My apologies. My throat is burning and my head feels heavy. It's ever since the war, you know. Since my injury, my head has never been the same.
Poirot, it's a pleasure to be with you again after all these years. I looked for a gift to thank you, and I found this propelling pencil.
An authentic collector's item. You spoil me, mon ami.
And you more so by sharing investigations.
Do not underestimate the help you are to me, Hastings. Intellect is not everything. There is also goodwill, and you are not short of that. Later, I will ask you to help me tidy up the room and bring some chairs. Our guest will be here soon.
Ah, is Thora Grey coming?
Naturally. She is a fascinating young woman, n'est-ce pas?
Oh, come on, Poirot. I'm a married man. Miss Grey has already been courted by Franklin Clark. Poirot, our guests will be here soon. We must prepare ourselves.
I should take advantage of the silence to examine them. Sometimes I love a brunette, sometimes I love a blonde. That's what the song says. The song says, sometimes I love a blonde who comes from Eden by way of Sweden. But I am not sure that this blonde is an angel. Franklin Clark always seems at ease, regardless of where he is. Something that's unique to people who travel. I ought to concentrate on my guests. Donald is always on edge.
Leave me alone.
Donald Fraser is very nervous at the moment, even if he is trying hard to control himself. she appears to have taken more care with her appearance than the last time. She's looking at Mr. Fraser out of the corner of her eye. Did she make herself beautiful for him? I wish to thank you all for coming. I wanted to bring everyone close to the victims here in order to unmask the murderer.
Get to the point, Mr. Poirot. What do you want from us?
You are an intelligent woman, Mademoiselle Barnard, and I'm sure that you have already understood my intentions.
You think that if we put our heads together, we might come up with something new?
I am convinced of it. What I ask is that you search your memories. The murderer must have left some trace.
Yes, he must have prepared his crimes very carefully.
Tout à fait. He did not get to Bexhill at midnight in order to strangle a young girl whose name by chance starts with P.
Must we go into that?
Mr. Fraser, please get a grip on yourself.
Well, I want to help you, but I don't remember anything else. Nothing I haven't already said.
And you, Mademoiselle Barnard, did your sister say she was seeing another man?
She never would have told me.
Why would she hide the fact from you?
Betty knew I didn't approve of her behavior. Her flirting was spoiling any chance she might have had.
Tell me, mademoiselle, what did you talk about with your sister?
Silly things. Her new dress. She wanted a pair of black stockings to go with it. Mother bought her a brand new pair. The day it happened, she was crying. And to think that Betty never even wore them. Poor Mummy.
Your sister used to sing, I believe. Did she ever perform in public?
She dreamt about it, but she had a very bad cough. It troubled her greatly. She had to cancel auditions and miss lots of opportunities. A pity.
Yes, she sang well, but that doesn't tell us much about the murderer.
Qui sait? In any case, we now have enough information to draw up a relatively precise psychological profile. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. So, ladies and gentlemen, we can now surmise without too much risk of error that our adversary is calculative, sure of himself, a seducer, of outstanding intelligence, that he has plenty of self-control, and that he likes railways. It's a good start. Other meetings may be necessary. I hope that you will be able to come back again.
Well, it's just that...
Is something bothering you, Mary?
Well, Mr. Poirot, you see, I don't know if I can come to London just like that.
It's normal that people helping with this inquiry should be reimbursed. Starting with you, Miss Drower. Please allow me to pay for your train tickets.
Oh, sir, I cannot accept.
But you must. Mademoiselle, I may not be rich, but my brother left a fortune which will be mine.
Mr. Clark, that's very generous of you.
Well, someone has to foot the bill. Mr. Poirot, would it be possible for you to come back to Devon? Lady Clark has expressed a wish to see you. We'll adjust her medicine so she'll not be too drowsy.
But of course, I shall come the day after tomorrow if it is convenient. Thank you all for coming. We will meet again soon. The meeting was most fruitful.
Really?
Hastings, I believe now we have everything we need to find a common point between the victims. Now it is time for us to use our grey matter. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. The first two victims suffered from bad throat, and that was precisely the specialty of the third victim, Dr. Clark.
We have a lead.
It would pay to take a closer look at the medical records of Dr. Clark's patients.
We'll do so during our next visit to Churston.
I will do it myself, mon ami. You must remain in London just in case ABC sends us another letter.
Very well, as you wish. Thank you for coming, Mr. Poirot. Lady Clark is waiting for you in her bedroom on the first floor. Please excuse me, I cannot stay for the interview. I've to take Miss Gray to the station to see our lawyer in Torquay.
Are you leaving Churston for good?
Miss Gray very kindly stayed with me to settle my brother's affairs, but naturally she prefers to find a position in London.
Ah, très bien.
I'll be absent all morning, Mr. Poirot, but the nurse is coming soon. She's to ensure that the dose of medicine doesn't make our patient drowsy.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Have a nice trip, mademoiselle. I do not need to make a telephone call now. This poor woman is very ill.
Please tell the nurse to hurry. Please.
This woman is suffering. She is in no state to have a conversation. I do not need to make a telephone call now.
Mr. Poirot?
My respects, madame.
Thank you for coming. Thank you. Have you seen the nurse? She should have been here by now. Oh, I'm sorry.
The telephone in the hall is ringing. The Clark residence. Detective Hercule Poirot speaking.
How do you do, Mr. Poirot? I'm Lady Clark's nurse. I wanted to let you know that I won't be able to come for her injection today. Might Miss Gray be able to do it?
She has just left, but I will take care of it.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. You'll find the skeleton key to open the medicine cabinet hidden in the lion trophy.
You can count on me. Au revoir, mademoiselle.
Oh, thank you kindly. Goodbye, Mr. Poirot.
It is now the right time. Here is the skeleton key. April 1925, Aceh Province, Sumatra. Lady Clark is in pain. I have to give her an injection of morphine to ease her suffering.
Ah, Mr. Poirot. Oh, I feel better now. Thank you for your help.
You asked for me, chère madame.
Yes, yes, of course, I wish to speak with you. But what was it about?
No doubt. You wish to talk to me about what happened to your husband?
Ah, yes. Oh, poor Carmichael. Has the madman who killed him been caught?
Not yet, chère madame. There was a great many people in Cheston on the day of the murder.
Indeed. People go straight to the beach. They don't come near Coomside.
So, there were no strangers around the house that day?
Who said that?
The people who live here. Your brother-in-law, Miss Gray.
Miss Gray? Oh, I don't like her. Franklin wanted her to stay, but I insisted she should go, immediately.
You are entitled to do so, naturally.
I'm pleased that you approve. The others have been taken in by her. But at least you can see through that self-pity act. See what she's up to. Oh.
This subject would probably be useful to me. This subject would probably be useful to me. This subject will probably be useful to me. This couple appears to be having fun. Lady Clark and Sir Carmichael were very happy, but they did not have any children. I hope that Hastings will not be cross with me.
Oh, what are we talking about? Ah, yes, Thora Grey. Oh, Carmichael had great esteem for her, but for me she was nothing but a hypocrite.
Miss Grey was a hard worker, though.
Thank goodness. Fortunately, she was good at her job. I don't see why you all think you should have to defend that girl.
You are very harsh. Do not forget that the girl is an orphan.
Yes, and she used the fact to get around men. Take Franklin. He's fallen for her sweet-talking charms. Oh, he's a lovely boy, very plucky and sure of himself. But so naive, oh, when it comes to women.
Miss Grey did look after you very well, though.
Outwardly. But she's hiding something. I think she tried to poison me.
Miss Grey? A poisoner? But everybody appears to like her.
It proves she knows what she's doing. She's manipulative and she's a liar.
A liar?
Let's see, didn't she say that on the day of the crime nobody was around Coomside?
That is correct.
Well, at 11 o'clock I saw her talking to someone.
Really? And what was this man like?
An ordinary sort of man with a very plain face. Oh, I don't remember well.
Was he a gentleman?
No, he was not a gentleman.
It would be best to leave her to sleep now. The telephone in the hall is ringing. Hello?
Poirot, is that you? Hastings here.
Thank you for calling. Have you received a new letter from the murderer?
No, thank goodness. How are things in Churston?
I questioned Lady Clark, but I will not leave until I have examined everything of interest to me here. Fortunately, Franklin is absent, and I have a skeleton key.
Have you seen Thora Grey again?
Briefly. But rest assured, I intend to summon her to London soon.
She's a fascinating girl.
But secretive. I would like to ask her a few questions.
Poirot, she wouldn't hurt a fly.
Each to his own, my friend. Yours are pretty often mine old ladies that have the maladies.
Poirot, are you mocking me?
No, rest assured. À bientôt, mon ami. How am I going to open this trunk? Let us examine it. Leaving the code on the trunk. What a strange character Franklin is. So, what is this sound? I should be able to open the trunk now. There we are. Why has Franklin put an Allen key inside his trunk? I'll borrow it for a minute. An Allen key. It can be used in 5 positions. An Allen key. It can be used in 5 positions. Another screw. This engraving is not very easy to understand. I need to sort it out. It is blocked. It is blocked. It is blocked. It is blocked. How am I going to open this trunk? Let us examine it. Leaving the code on the trunk. What a strange character Franklin is. So, what is this sound? I should be able to open the trunk now. There we are. Why has Franklin put an Allen key inside his trunk? I'll borrow it for a minute. An Allen key. An Allen key. It can be used in... Another screw. This engraving is not very easy to understand. I need to sort it out. It is blocked. 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 It is blocked.